Building Foundation Realm, Gathering Spirit Realm, Receiving Sea Realm, Breaking Yuan Realm, Yuan Ying Realm, Cave Void Realm, Heavenly Fire Realm, Void Realm, Returning to True Realm, True God Realm. Due to the battles between the gods in ancient times, the energy of the Tao was lost, and the path to becoming a god became increasingly elusive. The male protagonist, relying on his own strength, embarked on a path to becoming a god. Chapter 1. Freshmen. You are listening at novelfull.audio. According to legend, in the dawn of the birth of the universe, the energy of the Tao flows surging, and over time, they constantly condense, giving birth to two divine-level powerhouses, creating and destroying. In the vast universe, they constrain each other. When the god of creation traveled through the universe and stumbled upon a blue planet, he stopped in his tracks. Looking at the planet in front of him, he suddenly had an idea. I saw his right hand flip and the surrounding space tear apart. In just a moment, he crossed through space and arrived at the planet. What caught the eye was an endless ocean, with dark clouds covering the sky and thunder echoing everywhere. The towering waves seemed to be about to engulf everything. In the name of creation, I grant you life. The god of creation raised his right hand, and endless divine power gathered. An emerald green light shot rapidly into the sky, piercing through the sky, breaking through the dark clouds, and shining brightly throughout the world. Immediately, the seal quickly formed on the hand, and a large formation rose from the sea level, with runes flashing on the formation. Open. With a command, the formation slowly moved and poured out countless energies. The once dead world also came to life, and land rose from the sea level. Give you the name, Eternal Continent. Time has passed, and the Eternal Continent now is already full of vitality. The god of creation imparted the method of cultivation and established a temple. At the same time, he selected 18 highly talented people to worship under his own sect and conferred the title of 18 God Kings. People worship creation as the God of Allah, and the temple has become a sacred place in the hearts of every practitioner. In the depths of the universe, destruction gazes upon everything, stepping out, and in the blink of an eye, it reaches the sky above the continent. He found the desire god, Xue, one of the 18 divine kings. The god of desire gazed at the newcomer, realizing that even with his own divine-level cultivation, he could not see his true strength. The god of destruction revealed the purpose of this trip to Xue. My name is Destruction, and I can help you seize the position of the god of creation. Together, we will eliminate creation, and in the future, this continent will only have you as the god of desire. This continent only respects the god of your desire. However, as a condition, I only need you to help me eliminate the god of creation. Upon hearing this, Xue was tempted. He was already a fusion of worldly desires, and his own strength was not weak, even ranking in the top 3 among the 18 divine kings. However, his own strength was not enough to fight against the god of creation, but if he had the help of the person in front of him. What do I need to do? The god of destruction handed Xue a jade bottle and instructed him, this is a highly poisonous powder that I have exhausted my energy to create. Even the god of creation, as long as he gets involved in it, the next steps will be easy to handle. Xue stared at the jade bottle in her hand, and when she looked up again, the god of destruction on the opposite side had long disappeared. Inside the temple, the god of creation furrowed his brows and faintly felt the familiar aura. He immediately released his divine power to envelop the continent, patrolling every corner but still couldn't find it. The god of creation rubbed his brow, and the god of order, Fry, quickly stepped forward and said, Lord, is everything okay? The god of creation waved his hand and asked Fry to report on his recent arrangements. In 2 days, various forces will rush to the temple to pay tribute, your body. Fry looked at creation with a worried expression on his face. No problem. On the day of the ceremony. At this time, the temple was bustling with activity, including not only the 18 main gods, but also famous figures from the mainland. Ritual, start. As the sound fell, the god of creation flashed directly above the temple. Everyone kneels and bows when they see someone coming. See the Lord God. Subsequently, the 18 divine kings followed closely behind. Let's get started. Then Fry began to preside over the ceremony. The divine radiance of light offers a supernatural artifact and burns the heavenly sword. The god of creation looked at the sword, held it in his palm, waved it, and then nodded in satisfaction. The ancient kingdom of the underworld offers its underworld boat. Suya, the god of desire, offers the immortal spring water. Creativity looked at the object in front of them, reached out to draw a drop, and then the water droplet merged into the body of the god of creation along the finger. Well, this spring fruit is really like a rumor, healing and refining the body. It's not bad. The next second, the god of creation covers his chest and spurts out a mouthful of blood. This sudden scene caused everyone to panic, but several main gods reacted and immediately suppressed the god of desire. The goddess of life, Lian, rushed forward and said, "Lord, what's going on?" Immediately put a seal on both hands. Great restoration technique. Even with Lian's treatment, he still couldn't stop the decay in his creative hands. How could he not know that in this world, besides that person, who else has the ability to harm himself to this extent? Since you're here, why hide and seek? Create a gaze above. Create, long time no see. As the sound fell, a figure fell from above the temple. Indeed, it's you, destruction. Creativity disregarded the obstruction of others, stood up, and then stared at the suppressed desire, understanding everything. With a wave of her right hand, Suya instantly lost her vitality. Destruction was just a cold look, without any action. What qualifications do you have to fight me now? I will let you see with your own eyes the world you have created become hell. Then, with a pair of destroyed hands, the huge wings covered the scorching noon sun, like a demon on earth, and behind them, the great Tao formation operated. Silence. The sky was instantly shrouded in dark clouds, and an eerie red moon rose. Anyone who sees the red moon will be controlled, people will fight against each other, and cruel beasts will gallop across the continent. Oh no, stop him. The god of creation didn't have time to think much, so he led the other 17 main gods under his command to fight. The battle of the gods has officially begun. Flames burn down the Milky Way, thunder cracks open the sky, and the battles between gods spread to every corner of the continent. Endless energy surges, tearing apart the void and distorting time. In this fierce battle, the energy of the Tao gradually dissipated, forming a strange vortex. Both sides confront each other, with energy fluctuations and fluctuations, as if the universe is on the brink of collapse. Their every blow was like a sky shattering and earth shattering, their fighting spirit surging, and endless energy erupting in their conflict. The aftermath of the battle also spread to the mainland, with the sky and earth collapsing in the scene resembling hell on earth, with corpses scattered everywhere. No one knows how long this war lasted. Due to the lack of energy in the Tao, the speed of the gods' recovery gradually slowed down until the energy was completely depleted. With the fall of the last Lord God, only creation and destruction remain on the field. You're too fast, creating. This god-killing powder is something I specifically developed for you. Destruction triumphantly watched as the breath of creation gradually dissipated. Don't be complacent too early. Ladies and gentlemen, finally lend me your strength. As soon as the words fell, 17 different colors of radiance flowed into the creative body. Destruction suddenly felt ominous, wielding a giant axe towards creation. The holy light of creation, creating a difficult lifting of the hand, a beam of light bounced out from the fingertips. The beam of light collided with the giant axe in the air, emitting astonishing energy aftershocks. Both sides were deadlocked in the air, watching as their own vitality was about to run out. Creativity knew that this was not a solution. At the end of life, the god of creation overlooks this once glorious continent, gazing at endless darkness. He smiled, with endless wisdom and determination flashing in his eyes. Number 34, at the end of life, we are not the end, but the beginning. Every combustion is an opportunity for creation and the regeneration of life. Darkness may roar, but I, the God of creation, will find the outlet of light in the burning soul. Number 34, his voice echoes like ancient rhythms, echoing across the 9 heavens and 10 earth. Create and wave the wings on your back, each feather igniting a sacred flame. Is this, burning down the divine soul? Destruction suddenly feels ominous, creating this is to die together with oneself, quickly mobilize the remaining strength. Create a hand holding the burning heaven sword and lift it high. This sword, when used to eradicate the impurities of the world, eliminate all evil spirits and traditions, and restore peace to all living beings, I bestow upon it the name, New Life. With a single sword strike, accompanied by powerful energy fluctuations, heading towards destruction. Ah! The two energies collided, leaving only a frenzy of destruction and unwillingness in the air. It's finally over. Close your eyes wearily and fall towards the ground. Just as the breath of the God of creation was about to dissipate, he struggled to open his eyes and saw a world full of wounds and holes, feeling unwilling in his heart. Use all the remaining strength to descend a seed of hope, and then fall with a gloomy heart. The long years have passed, and the seed of hope quietly sprouts in the darkness. New vitality rises from the ruins, and the eternal continent regains its vitality, just as new hope rises from the baptism of blood and tears. And then. A group of children gathered around the storyteller, wanting to hear the next story. Alright, that's all for today's story, the old man said to the child as he calmly packed his things. The leading child hugged the old man's thigh and refused to let him go, relying solely on the old man's words before letting him leave. Although Yang Fei was only 5 years old at this time, his strength was quite strong. The old man couldn't persuade him well, so he had no choice but to flip his left hand and Yang Fei was shaken out. Everyone was stunned by this sudden scene, and Yang Fei was even more stunned. He calmed down and looked at the old man, only to find that he was very different from usual. His cloudy eyes were hard to see through. At the moment when Yang Fei was stunned, the old man disregarded the obstruction of other children and quickly slipped away. Hello, young master. Madam is going to give birth. Come back with me quickly. Just as Yang Fei was still immersed in what had just happened, a shout came from a distance. The person who came was a servant of the Yang family. The two grew up together and were named Xiao Xue. They were picked up by the Yang family. When they heard the shouting, Yang Fei realized it. As he watched the old man leave, he concluded that he must have been quite successful, and then returned to the Yang mansion with Xiao Xue. As soon as he arrived at the door, Yang Fei saw people constantly coming in and out of his mother's room. Just as Yang Fei was about to rush in to check the situation, a pair of big hands pressed his head and said, "Don't go in and cause trouble." The voice was very low, but when Yang Fei heard this sound, he didn't dare to move or play. "Master," Xiao Xue respectfully shouted. The person who came was Yang Fei's father, Yang Zhongheng, the current head of the Yang family. His calm and confident demeanor made Yang Fei feel extremely uncomfortable. Yang Zhongheng is also one of the few places in Zhengshen town that accepts the sea, and he is very famous in the local area. He waved his hand casually, gesturing for Xiao Xue to go down. Yang Fei turned around and said, "I've seen my father." Yang Zhongheng nodded and withdrew his hand. "If you don't cultivate well, you'll know how to fool around all day long." Upon hearing his father's scolding, Yang Fei didn't take it seriously. Since the age of 3, his father has never cared about him except for cultivating himself. Sometimes, even due to the lack of progress, Yang Fei got into a big fight, hitting him several times until he was bedridden for several months. However, it was precisely because of his father that Yang Fei's mind far surpassed that of his peers, and his realm had already entered the realm of Huiling. Among the young generation in Zhengshen town, he was also one of the best. Not long after, the crying of a baby came from the room. Born. Born. It's a young lady. The servant shouted happily towards the outside. At this moment, Yang Fei's face also revealed an uncontrollable smile. Yang Zhongheng also breathed a sigh of relief in his heart, but as soon as he finished speaking, the servant's voice came again. Master, madam's blood cannot stop. Yang Zhongheng suddenly felt uneasy and rushed into the room. Yang Fei followed closely behind and found it in a mess. His mother lay there with a pale face. Yang Fei ran to his mother's bed and knelt down, tears streaming uncontrollably. He shouted, "Mother! Mother!" but received no response. Yang Zhongheng also summoned all the famous physicians in the town. After taking turns to inquire, although the blood had stopped, the person remained awake for a long time. I looked at the baby in my hand and then at my wife lying in bed. At this moment, it's early autumn, so let's call you Autumn approaching, Yang Zhongheng said calmly. Yang Fei silently murmured in his heart, Autumn is coming, Yang is coming. Time flies, 5 years have passed in the blink of an eye. At this moment, Yang Fei lay on his own bed, playing with the jade that his mother had given him. A voice came. Brother, my father asked me to call you to find him. The door was then opened, and Yang Fei saw Yang Qiulin panting heavily. Seeing her adorable appearance, he also got out of bed and fondled her head. 5 years have passed, and although there are rumors that her birth caused her mother's accident, Yang Fei has never believed so. He has always protected his sister and even fought several times, offending many descendants of the powerful forces in the town. For this, Yang Zhongheng also put a lot of effort into it. Seeing Yang Fei preparing to lie down again, Qiulin quickly grabbed his brother and instructed him to pass quickly, saying, There are many people at home today, waiting for you in the conference hall. After a simple tidying up, Yang Fei came to the family council. Seeing the father on the main seat, sitting next to him was his uncle. Father, uncle. Yang Fei saluted respectfully, realizing that uncle had been looking at him all along. Here we go, sit down. Yang Zhongheng spoke up. As soon as he sat down, a hearty laugh came from the uncle's mouth. Ha ha ha, good kid. It's been a few years since I last saw you. He's already grown so tall. Not bad. This physique requires a lot of practice. Oh, not bad. It's the 5th level of the soul-gathering realm. Yang Fei is now 10 years old, with a tall figure, clear eyebrows and beautiful eyes, although not too stunning. Of course, there was no lack of practice, and my father never slacked off on his own cultivation. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Yang Fei also looked up and down at his uncle. His name was Yang Fa, and there was not much change when he saw his mother. He had short hair and a strong sense of determination in his eyebrows and eyes. However, the obvious scars on his face made Yang Fei inexplicably feel palpitations. Uncle, don't tease me anymore. I wonder why my father suddenly called me. Yang Zhongheng remained silent and looked at his son. Yang Fa, this impatient person, couldn't bear to watch anymore. Your kid is also 10 years old this year, reaching the age of ascending to the divine level. This time, you and I will go to Baicheng and handle this matter. Ascending the divine stage. Chapter 2. Depart for Baicheng. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ascending the divine stage. This is also the first time Yang Fei has heard of it. Every child who reaches the age of 10 on the mainland has one opportunity to ascend to the sacred temple and ascend to the divine level, also known as the ascending ceremony. The closest one to us is the Holy Temple Branch Hall in Baicheng. In our Yuan Empire, there are 9 such branch halls. Uncle, continue to supplement. Yang Fei still had a puzzled expression on his face. Uncle explained, after entering, the height of your ascent can reflect your cultivation talent. The more steps you follow, the stronger the obstacles you will encounter. Cultivation talent. Yang Fei asked curiously. After each ascent, there will be a corresponding level of divine affinity. The higher the level of divine affinity, the higher your talent. Usually, a talent below 60 is considered as having no talent, and one cannot go far in their lifetime. A talent between 60 and 80 is considered average and is considered a mortal level talent, which most people have achieved. A talent between 80 and 85 is considered an imperial level talent, a talent between 85 and 90 is considered an imperial level talent, and a talent between 90 and 915 is considered a sub-divine level talent. With one's own efforts and great opportunities, there is a very small possibility of breaking through into a god in the future. Those who have been known as pro-gods for 9 to 50 to 90 years have a high probability of breaking through into gods in the future as long as they do not slack off. As for the legendary 100, they are called quasi-gods, and are naturally blessed by gods. Rumors have it that they will break through to gods and stand at the top of the continent. After listening to Uncle's words, Yang Fei's heart also grew more and more longing for this climbing ceremony. He also wanted to know how his cultivation talent was. When will we depart then? Let's set off tomorrow and go back to pack up later. This trip will take several days, no matter what. Okay, then I'll go back and tidy up. Later, Yang Fei bowed to his father and uncle and then withdrew. However, he did not immediately return to his residence, but went to his mother's resting place to say goodbye to her. Since my mother suffered an accident, she has been lying in bed all the time. Even though many famous doctors came to inquire, it was of no use. Mother. Yang Fei knelt at the head of his mother's bed. Tomorrow I will go to Baicheng. From now on, I will definitely become a powerful person. At that time, I will go find the most powerful doctor in the mainland to treat your illness, and you will definitely get better. Leaving his mother's room, Yang Fei returned to his residence. As soon as I stepped into the door, I saw Xiao Xue cleaning in the courtyard. He suddenly seemed to remember something. Xiao Xue, come with me. Upon hearing Yang Fei's words, Xiao Xue followed him into the inner room. Xiao Xue, if I remember correctly, you're the same age as me, right? Yang Fei asked. Yes, young master. That's good, hurry back and pack up. Follow me to Baicheng tomorrow. Baicheng. Xiao Xue was puzzled. If you want to go, you can go. Where are all these questions? Yes, young master. At this time, Xiao Xue had a body size similar to Yang Fei. Watching Xiao Xue leave behind, although Xiao Xue was Yang Fei's servant, Yang Fei had regarded him as a brother since childhood. He practiced on his own during the day and secretly taught him what he had learned at night. Not long ago, Xiao Xue had just entered the realm of Huiling. When the things were almost packed, it was already noon. After lunch, Yang Fei was preparing to rest. Brother, Chuya's voice came in. Why did the girl come? Yang Fei thought to himself. Seeing Qiu Lin panting heavily, Yang Fei couldn't help but laugh and say, What's wrong? This is being chased by a dog. Are you going to Baicheng? Autumn Lin asked urgently. Yes, we will depart tomorrow. I'll go too, said Qiu Lin without hesitation upon hearing Yang Fei's answer. In Qiu Lin's heart, only Yang Fei has been the best to her. Yang Fei shook his head helplessly. Not this time. Seeing Yang Fei unwilling to bring herself, tears welled up in Chuya's eyes. Seeing his sister like this, Yang Fei patiently touched her head. I'm not going to play this time. Brother has something important to attend to. What can't you take me with you? Chuya crossed her waist and said angrily. Do you still remember what my brother's dream was? Without hesitation, Chuya immediately spoke up, becoming a very powerful person on the mainland. Yes, do you still remember the mysterious person before? I will also be like him in the future, subduing all the people who bullied Chuya in just a few strokes. That was last year, when Yang Fei and Qiu Lin witnessed the power of a mysterious powerhouse. That was last spring, and Yang Fei was strolling aimlessly on the street as usual. Encountered Chu Yuan, the eldest son of the Chu family. Like the Yang family, the head of the Chu family, Chu Ba, is also a member of the Na Hai realm. Chu Ba's two younger brothers, the second head of the Chu family, Chu Lin, and the third head, Chu Tiangang, have just entered the Na Hai realm. The Chu family now even surpasses the Yang family. The two families often have disputes in business and their relationship is not very good. Seeing Yang Fei approaching, Chu Yuan also raised his volume. I heard that a strange grass appeared in the center of the Linghu Lake in Haoshan. Some people were lucky enough to get some, and their years of illness recovered. Upon hearing this, Yang Fei wondered if his mother would be able to obtain it. Just as Yang Fei was stunned, he didn't notice the face of Chu Yuan's scheme succeeding. Yang Fei deliberately bypassed Chu Yuan and ran home, calling for Xiao Xue and his sister. He informed his sister of the news and told her of his own plan. I found a way to save my mother, Yang Fei said excitedly. Upon hearing that she could save her mother, Autumn came to her senses. Due to rumors surrounding her, she had always felt that she had harmed her mother. Xiao Xue was also very excited. In his heart, without his wife's support, he might have been on the back mountain. After listening to Yang Fei's words, the three of them agreed to depart tonight. Soon, night fell. The three of them first gathered in Yang Fei's courtyard, and when there were no abnormalities, Yang Fei dug open the grass and found a hole. Due to frequent confinement, Yang Fei kept this hole for himself to sneak out and use. The other two didn't expect there to be a hole here. After coming out, the three of them rushed up the mountain. Arriving at the mountain, Xiao Xue excitedly shouted, young master, look quickly, isn't that right?" Yang Fei followed Xiao Xue's finger and found something shimmering green on the central island of Linghu not far away. He concluded that this was what he was looking for. The three of them walked along the only suspension bridge without saying a word. As they approached, the three of them were overjoyed. Yang Fei was the most excited, rolling up his sleeves and preparing to pull them out. Just then, a familiar voice appeared across the bridge. "Hello, Yang Fei." The person who came was Chu Yuan, accompanied by two Chu family servants. Yang Fei suddenly felt uneasy. "Do you like the big gift I gave you?" Chu Yuan ordered his men to cut off the rope of the suspension bridge. As two ropes were cut, the road back was also cut off. The suspension bridge fell into the water, causing huge waves. Yang Fei angrily cursed, "Chu Yuan, you bastard." As soon as Yang Fei left, there came a roar from under the pool, like the roar of a fierce tiger. Immediately, a 5-meter-long black giant snake emerged from the lake, with red eyes and a murderous aura. Its sharp fangs were chilling. Chu Yuan saw that the situation was not right, and he just wanted to lure Yang Fei and others to the center of the lake and let them stay overnight. Unexpectedly, there were such monsters in the lake. In order to wash away the suspicion, Chu Yuan quickly left with his servants. Obviously, Yang Fei and others have been targeted by the giant snake, which is circling around the island in the center of the lake. The three of them had never seen such a thing before and were so frightened that they couldn't move. Not long after, the giant snake saw the three people motionless and launched an attack. It leaped out of the lake and opened its mouth, preparing to swallow the few alive. This giant snake is not only huge in size, but also surprisingly fast in speed. Before the three of them could react, they were already approaching. Yang Fei pushed away his frightened sister and Xiao Xue. When the huge mouth appeared in front of him, Yang Fei could no longer hide and desperately closed his eyes. "Brother!" Autumn Lin shouted hoarsely. Xiao Xue also knelt down in pain, staring at the body of the giant snake. The next second, the giant snake was split open by Zhengshen. Qiu Lin and Xiao Xue saw someone blocking in front of Yang Fei, holding a long sword and wearing a mask on their face. "Got it, saved." Yang Fei stared at the tall figure and said, trembling. The mysterious person turned around and looked at Yang Fei in front of him. His pants were all wet with fear, and he also smiled and said, ha ha ha, which doll from that family came here in the middle of the night? Yang Fei and the three of them also had their origins in the mysterious humanity. The mysterious person listened to Yang Fei's words and looked at the grass, then smiled and said, this is just an ordinary spiritual grass. It is used for practitioners to practice and has no therapeutic effect. Upon hearing the mysterious man's words, Yang Fei and others became even more angry and decided to go to the Chu family to seek an explanation after returning. Yang Fei asked the mysterious person, are you also a cultivator? Upon hearing Yang Fei's words, the mysterious man simply laughed and did not answer. With the three of them, he jumped to the shore. Yang Fei saw that this person was about to leave and said, my name is Yang Fei, and I don't know the name of the senior. The mysterious person didn't answer, but in the blink of an eye, the person disappeared. The next day, Yang Fei told his father about this matter. Although Yang Zongheng was also angry, he did not dare to make any progress. After all, the Chu family now has 3 members who accept the sea, while the Yang family has 2, his younger brother Yang Fa is always away. Seeing that his son and daughter were fine, Yang Zongheng scolded Yang Fei a few words. Let Yang Fei go of this matter and no one will mention it. Yang Fei was angry and said, let's just give up. We almost. Enough. If it weren't for your arbitrary opinions, your sister and Xiao Xue would have been killed. Yang Zongheng interrupted sharply before Yang Fei finished speaking. Yang Fei angrily left. After Yang Fei left, Yang Zongheng was also angry but helpless. However, he thought to himself, when did Warcraft appear in Qingshan town? And who exactly is the person who took action? It was also because of this incident that Yang Fei had a deep obsession with becoming a strong person. At this time, he only wanted to cure his mother and seek revenge against the Chu family. My thoughts return to the present. I also want to become a strong person in the future and protect my brother, said Xiao Lin. Looking at his childish sister, Yang Fei only felt amused. Looking at the wound on her hand and the calloused hand, Yang Fei knew that his father was equally strict with his sister. Swearing inwardly, be sure to protect your family. That night, Yang Fei lay in bed, unable to sleep for a long time. What if you don't have talent? The next day, in order not to let his younger sister notice, Yang Fei woke up early and found that his uncle was already waiting for him. Here we go, get in the car. Uncle waved his hand. Yang Fei and Xiao Xue got into the carriage, while uncle led the way on horseback. Let's go, Baicheng. Chapter 3. Near Threat. You are listening at novelfull.audio. In addition to Yang Fei, Xiao Xue, and Yang Fa, there are also more than 10 elite members of the Yang family on this trip. Yang Zongheng watched as they left. Not far from Qingshan town, I met another group of people on the road. Oh, isn't this the Yang family's convoy? Why, it's also heading to Baicheng. Yang Fei, I advise you not to waste your efforts. The person speaking was the eldest son of the Chu family, Chu Yuan. Beside him were the second head of the Chu family, Chu Lin, and Chu Yuan's younger brother, Chu Su. Yang Fa saw that he was from the Chu family, so he immediately cursed and said, Kid, keep your mouth shut, be careful not to live to Baicheng. Yang Fa stopped his horse and turned his head to look towards the direction of the Chu family. The murderous aura in his eyes burst out, indicating that he knew the Chu family was secretly targeting the Yang family. Do you really think I dare not touch your Chu family? With a person who only accepts the 5th level of the sea, how dare you shout like this? Yang Fa moved his muscles and bones. Chu Lin blocked Chu Yuan and Chu Su behind him, and Chu Lin was also quite rough. However, in terms of physique, Yang Fa still had a slight advantage. Chu Lin couldn't help feeling a little timid when he saw the murderous aura in the other party's eyes. He immediately said, "Why take it seriously? We still have to hurry, so let's not stop here." He then left with the Chu family first. Yang Fa looked disdainful and said, "Cut it. You're a coward." Immediately, he rode his horse again and led the team away. At this moment, Yang Fei felt that the image of the uncle was becoming increasingly tall. The convoy keeps moving forward, there is an inn ahead, and it's getting late. "Let's rest here," said Yang Fei, the leader of the team. As soon as the convoy stopped, a waiter walked out of the inn. Yang Fa threw a bag of spirit stones to the waiter and asked him to tie up his horse. "Okay, my guest." The waiter smiled and took it. Lingshi is the currency of the mainland. As soon as he entered the inn, Yang Fa shouted, "Where's the boss?" His voice was particularly loud, so the whole inn came over in unison. In the corner of the inn, the people of the Chu family are also staring at this place. Chu Lin couldn't suppress the smile on his face. Here, guest." The innkeeper walked over with a smiling face. "Bring up all the good wine and meat from your place, come on, open 5 more rooms." Upon hearing that it was a big deal, the boss's wife couldn't help but smile on her face. Dilyao, please wait a moment, my guest. In no time, the food will be ready. Come, drink." Yang Fa called out to the others, picked up a bowl of wine and drank it all in one gulp. Yang Fa also poured a bowl for Yang Fei and Xiao Xue. Yang Fei and Xiao Xue had never drunk alcohol since they grew up. They looked at each other and imitated Yang Fa's style. They drank it all in one gulp, but before they could drink it, they vomited it out. "Look at you two like that, don't say you're from my Yang family when you go out." Uncle joked. The taste of this wine is really unpleasant. When Uncle had almost finished drinking, Yang Fei asked Uncle, "What level have you reached now?" Upon hearing Yang Fei's words, Yang Fei laughed heartily and immediately said, "Now is the middle of the 8th level of the Na Hai realm. In no time, you will reach the 9th level and break through to the Yuan realm. In the middle of the 8th level. Even more powerful than his father." Yang Fei couldn't help but marvel at this uncle's strength. "You little doll, you don't understand. Your father is busy with family business. In terms of talent, your father is more talented than me." Natural talent. Was my father very talented back then? Imperial level. The people at the table were also shocked to hear Yang Fa say so. "What about you?" Yang Fei continued to ask. "I am also an imperial level, but your father has a godly degree of 85, and I only have 83. 85. Another shock. Alright, the past is over, keep drinking." Yang Fei never expected that his father would have such a high degree of godliness. After drinking and eating, everyone returned to their respective rooms. Yang Fei and Xiao Xue share the same room, Yang Fa has a separate room, and the others are divided into 3 other rooms. Yang Fa drank too much and was carried back by someone. Due to the rush, Yang Fei and Xiao Xue were also very tired and quickly fell asleep. Late at night, Yang Fei felt like urinating. Just as he was about to wake up, he found a figure standing on the shining door. He quickly woke up Xiao Xue who was sleeping on the ground. Xiao Xue, wake up quickly." Yang Fei's voice was low, afraid that outsiders would hear him. Seeing Xiao Xue still sleeping soundly, Yang Fei had no choice but to get out of bed and shake him up. Xiao Xue woke up and saw the young master shaking himself. He also spoke up and asked, "What's wrong, young master?" Yang Fei quickly covered Xiao Xue's mouth. But this sound directly alarmed the people outside, and they broke through the door. Through the light, Yang Fei saw that the person who came was from the Chu family, including Chu Yuan, Chu Su, Chu Lin, and the owner of this shop. At this moment, Yang Fei realized that the Chu family had already colluded with the inn. Uncle! Yang Fei could only keep calling for help at this moment. It's useless, I poisoned the wine. Although it's not fatal, it's impossible for me to wake up for a while. Chu Lin stared fiercely at Yang Fei and the others. Yang Fei and Xiao Xue were tightly together, with the door blocked and there was no possibility of going out. It was also the third floor, and jumping out of the window was even more impossible. Tie them up. Chu Yuan ordered his subordinates. Yes. After all, Yang Fei and Xiao Xue have practiced before. How could they be slaughtered and charged towards the incoming people? However, due to the significant difference in strength, they were easily subdued. Soon, Yang Fei and Xiao Xue were tied up and walked outside the inn. They were led up the mountain, and Yang Fei was extremely scared. Plus, he had always wanted to use the restroom, but he didn't hold back. Seeing this, the people of the Chu family mocked and said, "How could the Yang family make you such a useless person?" Xiao Xue saw that the young master had been bullied and immediately scolded Chu Yuan, saying, "You Chu family also know these sneaky tricks." Upon hearing this, Chu Yuan became even more angry and was about to educate Xiao Xue, but was stopped by Chu Lin. "Don't delay the main task. What's the point?" The Chu family and others tied Yang Fei and Xiao Xue to the same tree. At this moment, Chu Yuan took out a bottle from his pocket and scattered the contents around the two of them. "What is this?" Yang Fei struggled as he asked. "He, you'll know later," Chu Yuan replied humbly. After sprinkling one circle after another, Chu Yuan finally clapped his hands in satisfaction when he saw the bottle bottoming out. "Let's just go down the mountain, it won't be long before they come." Yang Fei suddenly had a bad premonition in his heart. The Chu family and their group slowly left, and Chu Yuan, who stayed at the end, gave Xiao Xue a fierce kick, causing him to feel pain. "All right. It's almost done, they'll come later, no one can leave." Chu Lin scolded. Upon hearing Chu Lin's words, Chu Yuan finally stopped. Until all the members of the Chu family left, the surroundings were eerily quiet, and Yang Fei could hear Xiao Xue's heavy breathing. "How are you, Xiao Xue? Are you okay?" Yang Fei asked. "It's okay, young master. Are you okay?" Xiao Xue was even more worried about Yang Fei. "It's okay, it's just that the rope is too tight." Ah Wu suddenly, a wolf howled. "Damn it, how could there be wolves here?" Yang Fei is in a hurry now. With their current situation, there is no room for resistance at all. Not only Yang Fei, but also Xiao Xue's face revealed despair. The surroundings were quiet, and they could feel that thing getting closer and closer. Suddenly, a figure emerged from the nearby haystack. A black wolf, larger than two adults, rushed in front of Yang Fei and the others. It sniffed at Yang Fei and the others, seemingly treating them as its prey. When did Yang Fei and his team see such a huge wolf? "No, it's not one, it's a group." Xiao Xue's voice came in. Yang Fei instinctively scanned the surroundings and noticed that there were many pairs of dark green eyes added to the grass at some point. Now, Yang Fei and his companions were completely hopeless. They were just deadlocked, and the wolf that rushed out was not in a hurry to attack, which puzzled Yang Fei. Suddenly, the wolf in front of him opened its big mouth and attacked Yang Fei and the other two. Yang Fei and Xiao Xue were both extremely scared and couldn't help but close their eyes. "Stop it." A female voice came in. Yang Fei slowly opened his eyes and saw a pure white wolf standing in front of him. This wolf's body size is not much different from other wolves, but its eyes are light red. Most importantly, there is someone on its back. All the wolf packs, upon seeing this person, showed great respect and opened up a path. This person walked up to Yang Fei, and Yang Fei also saw this person's face. She is a woman with a beautiful appearance, long hair, and a pendant around her neck that looks like wolf teeth, humans. "Why are you here, and how can there be a smell of Warcraft zombies here? We were framed by treacherous people." The beautiful sister will definitely save us. Yang Fei quickly spoke up. I am the eldest son of the Yang family in Qingshan town. Yang Fei, can you let us go? We have been tricked by treacherous people and will definitely come back to repay our kindness in the future. The woman led by No Way decisively refused. As for the Warcraft you're talking about, what is Warcraft Corpse? I don't know, do I? The girl glanced around at Yang Fei's words and noticed the bottle that had fallen to the ground. She picked it up and sniffed it, instantly understanding what was going on. What kind of person have you offended? How could you harm you like this? Beautiful sister, can you untie us? I'll tell you slowly. The woman checked Yang Fei and his companions and found nothing dangerous, so she helped them loosen their ties. Yang Fei also explained the beginning and end of the matter. Listening to Yang Fei's words, women also believe him. Beautiful sister, my name is Yang Fei. What's your name? My name is Salo. Salo, can you tell us what happened today? What are you talking about, Warcraft? Yang Fei asked curiously. Salo touched the white wolf beside him and said, the person who is going to harm you today has scattered powder with the scent of Warcraft corpses around you. These powders will attract many Warcraft beasts. If they do, you and your companions will only have one white bone left. Yang Fei and the others felt scared after listening. I am the protector of this forest, and you don't even know what Warcraft is. Yang Fei shook his head fiercely. Warcraft is different from ordinary animals, divided into low, medium, high, pseudo-god, and quasi-god levels. Compared to ordinary animals, low-level Warcraft has a larger body size and stronger attack power. Compared to low-level Warcraft, medium-level Warcraft has more innate skills and looks similar to low-level Warcraft. High-level Warcraft is completely different from ordinary animals. They not only have a huge body size, but also have innate skills and even inherited bloodlines, and their attack power is terrifying. I have never seen anything else, but there are rumors that a pseudo-god level once slaughtered a city on its own. Yang Fei was surprised, and Xiao Xue was also surprised, which was completely different from the world they knew. For example, these black wolves are low-level Warcraft, and as for this white wolf, it is a mid-level one. It is also my companion, named Anlu. Upon hearing someone call his name, White Wolf also let out a whimper. Can humans and Warcraft still become partners? Yang Fei asked in shock. Salo couldn't help but laugh at Yang Fei's shocked expression and said, Hey, is your village isolated from the world? Why don't you know anything? Later, he added, Warcraft is also divided into good and evil. Not all Warcraft will attack humans, just like this group of werewolves, they are all companions of our guard team. You should be grateful that they found you first, otherwise I cannot say the consequences. Is the white snake from last year also a Warcraft? Yang Fei thought to himself. Alright, it's not safe around, I'll take you back, Salo said. Then he ordered 2 black wolves to carry Yang Fei and Xiao Xue down the mountain. Chapter 4. Start of Ceremony. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Alright, we can only deliver you here. Yang Fei and Xiao Xue bid farewell to Salo who had left. Return to the inn. What? Damn the Chu family. Upon hearing Yang Fei's description, Yang Fei was extremely angry. Those who dare to touch my Yang family won't be able to return to Qingshan town alive. When Yang Fei said these words, he felt very cold and clearly felt that he was really motivated. However, the people of the Chu family left overnight and disappeared long ago. We should also depart now. I'll report this account to you, uncle. Upon hearing Yang Fei's words, Yang Fei was moved in his heart. In his heart, his uncle even treated him better than his father. At sunset, you can reach Baicheng. The group set off again. Last night's turmoil caused Yang Fei to fall asleep as soon as he got in the car. Here we go. Yang Fei shouted loudly. Upon hearing uncle's voice, Yang Fei slowly opened his eyes and saw a tall city wall. Hello, hello, who is that? At this moment, Yang Fei saw that the soldiers at the city gate had stopped them. Young family from Xingshan town, bring their descendants to attend the deity ceremony in Baicheng, Yang Fei said. The ritual of asking the gods. Is there a city entry order? The soldiers led by disdainfully asked Yang Fei. When do I need this entry permit to enter and exit Baicheng? Yang Fei frowned. This door is guarded by me. I said there is an entry permit, so it is. Obviously, this is being made difficult. Yang Fei also understood and without saying a word, punched the soldier in the face. This punch was so fast that the soldiers had no time to react and were instantly thrown several meters away. You, how dare you hit me? The soldier touched half of his swollen face. At this moment, other soldiers also gathered around. Isn't this the deputy commander? An elderly soldier said in the crowd. Deputy commander. Everyone was shocked. They had all heard of a deputy commander in Baicheng who guarded the western border area of Baicheng all year round, so few people had seen him. However, this elderly soldier had seen him. Unexpectedly, it was the person in front of me. The elderly soldier saluted first, "See Deputy Commander." "See Deputy Commander." All the soldiers saluted one after another. He said he was the deputy commander, right? I also said I was a soldier who was obviously not convinced. Before he could finish speaking, Yang Fei stepped towards the soldiers. What are you? Seeing Yang Fei's tone not good, the soldier's body couldn't stop trembling and he dared not say more. The older soldier spoke first and said, "What are you still waiting for? Give way to the deputy commander quickly. The obstacles to entering the city have been pushed aside." A group of people shuttled through the White City. The hustle and bustle of Baicheng is far beyond that of Qingshan town, with people coming and going on the streets. I found an inn in the city and just sat down. Uncle, are you really the deputy commander of this White City? Yang Fei approached Yang Fei and asked. Yang Fei said. Upon hearing uncle's words, Yang Fei admired him even more. Let's eat first. Yang Fei interrupted Yang Fei. Yang Fei, come to my room. When everyone was eating well, Yang Fei stood up and said to Yang Fei. Then he followed uncle closely to his room. Uncle. Yang Fei closed the door. What do you know about tomorrow's ritual of ascending to the gods? Yang Fei poured a cup of tea and asked Yang Fei Dao. By participating in the god questioning ceremony, one can already know their cultivation talent. When Yang Fei thought of practicing, he was particularly excited. Yes, by participating in the divine ceremony, you can know your cultivation talent. Yang Fei took a sip of his tea and continued, you're also at the age of knowing these things. Do you know the level division of cultivation in the mainland? Upon hearing Yang Fei's words, Yang Fei immediately became interested. Building Foundation Realm, Gathering Spirit Realm, Receiving Sea Realm, Breaking Yuan Realm, Yuan Ying Realm, Cave Void Realm, Heavenly Fire Realm, Void Realm, Returning to True Realm, True God Realm. Yang Fei memorized these things proficiently. Yang Fei nodded satisfactorily and continued, do you know what those who cannot go far on the path of cultivation should do? Be an ordinary person. Who would be willing to be an ordinary person? I'm telling you these things today, not because uncle doesn't believe you, but because he points you out another path. On the mainland, there are people every year who are unable to achieve long-term cultivation due to their low talent. In order to protect themselves, some people have created talismans. When the first talisman master on the mainland appeared, he casually threw a talisman, which could trigger thunder and earth fire. Is there another profession? Yes, they are called talismans. Upon hearing uncle's words, Yang Fei asked, Master of Talismans, isn't this name so domineering? powerful, the more advanced the talisman, the greater its power. It is rumored that a top-level talisman once descended and directly killed all the enemies in the Void Realm, even those returning to the True Realm suffered heavy damage. Bomb and kill the Void Realm. Heavy damage to the True Realm. Yang Fei never expected that these top cultivators on the path of cultivation would be suppressed by a talisman. As an elder of the Yang family and your uncle, I certainly hope that you can go a long way in your cultivation journey, but when absolutely necessary, I hope you have the ability to protect yourself. Yang Fei also understood uncle's meaning. Go back and rest, just give it a good rest tomorrow. Yes, uncle. Returning to the room, Yang Fei lay in bed, lost in thought at this moment. Xiao Xue saw a worried expression on Yang Fei's face when he returned and asked, "Young master, what's wrong with you?" Xiao Xue, if you could only be an ordinary person in your lifetime, would you be willing? Later, Yang Fei told uncle everything he had told Xiao Xue. It's okay, young master. I believe you must be the most powerful talent, and in the end, you can definitely break through the highest realm. Upon hearing Xiao Xue's words, Yang Fei couldn't help but laugh and said, if only we could truly become the highest realm, that would be great. Alright, it's getting late, we're going to the ceremony tomorrow. On the second day the morning sun shone on Yang Fei's face, and there was a knock at the door. Wake up, young master, we're leaving. Xiao Xue got up early. As soon as Yang Fei thought about today being the ritual of asking the gods, he fell completely asleep. Arriving downstairs, I found everyone waiting for me. After a simple meal, I set off to the temple to attend the ceremony. At the entrance of the temple, many people have already gathered, not only attending the ceremony, but also watching the excitement. Look, that's Jingfeng Academy, Yang Fei introduced to Yang Fei. Every year, not only ordinary people come to witness this grand event, but also various colleges come to dig people on site. If you encounter someone with good talent, you can directly recruit them to your own college on the spot. Yang Fei looked towards the direction of the team bearing the flag of Jingfeng College, thinking to himself how magnificent it would be if he could be competed for by various colleges. Just as Yang Fei was lost in thought, he collided with the uncle who had stopped in front of him. Following uncle's direction, I saw the people of the Chu family. Bastard, I really bumped into it. Yang Fei rolled up his sleeves and walked over. Before taking any steps, he was stopped by Yang Fei. I can't do it now. If we take action here, we'll be disqualified. I'll make my own arrangements. Not long after, the gate of the temple slowly opened, and inside came an old man with grey temples, holding a wooden staff. The old man stood in the center of the temple square, cleared his throat, and said, "Everyone, I declare that the ceremony has officially begun." Chapter 5. Is not, do you want to hang like this? You are listening at novelfull.audio. The ceremony officially begins. As the old man's voice sounded, the atmosphere at the scene was instantly ignited. All participants in the ceremony are requested to reach the steps in front of me within 10 breaths. Exceeding this time will be considered as abstention. The crowd began to surge, and people gradually climbed up the steps. After a while, okay, the 10 breath has arrived. Those who take the stage again are no longer valid. As soon as the words fell, someone wanted to rush forward but was stopped by the guards. According to the registered name, those who are called will enter the gate of order behind me. After 3 calls, those who do not respond will be considered invalid and will not wait for the passage. In addition, you only have 10 minutes to climb higher steps as much as you can, and in 10 minutes, you will be forcibly sent out. The old man continued. There are already many people in the crowd watching the excitement, and the scene is incredibly lively. In the Eternal Continent, the annual ritual of asking the gods is undoubtedly the most popular. First, Fu Yu, the old man spoke slowly. Fu Yu, he is the second young master of the Fu family. Fu Shao, come on. Yang Fei saw the situation around him and couldn't help but think to himself, what did Fu Yu come from? So many people support him. At this moment, a slender young man walked towards the old man, dressed in a white robe with a row of jade-like things embedded in the waistband. He held a feather fan in his hand and a jade flute pinned to his waist. His face was handsome, but there was a hint of malice between his eyebrows. When this person stood on the square, the cheers below were wave after wave, mostly female. Yang Fei was also surprised, no wonder his voice was so loud. This person not only had an outstanding appearance, but his temperament was enough to crush his peers. Fu Yu bowed to the old man and walked towards the door of order behind him. The door slowly opened, and through it, rows of stairs appeared. Is this the long step of ascending the gods? Yang Fei was not particularly tall, and through the person standing in front of him, he could see rows of golden long steps from a distance. As soon as Fu Yugang stepped in, the door of order behind him slowly closed. At this moment, everyone outside the venue was eagerly anticipating how high this genius could reach. 10 minutes passed in an instant, and the door to order reopened. At this moment, the spirit stone in the center of the square lit up, and then a voice rang out. Fu Yu, Qingshen Du, 90. When the last number rings, the scene instantly boils. What? 90. Oh my god, what kind of demon? 90, let's just hang it up. That's it, once in 100 years. My goodness, I am fortunate enough to have a talent at the level of a second god. Is it so fierce when I first come up? The people below were discussing one after another. The Fu family has also fried the pot. Ha ha ha, 90, this kid actually has 90. Our Fu family's rise is just around the corner. The speaker was the head of the Fu family, Fu Guan. Even the old man who was hosting the ceremony next to Fu Yu couldn't help but praise him. It's a once-in-a-century, not bad, not bad. At this moment, in the center of the square, Fu Yu was like a winner, enjoying his own honor. Huaqian Academy, invite Master Fu to join and be a disciple of the Grand Elder inside the academy. Everyone was attracted to this sound. An old man stood up leisurely, hunched his back, and looked very inconspicuous in the crowd. That's it. As one of the 5 major colleges, Huaqian College is too stingy, isn't it? Yes, last year there was a person who was 85% godly, and the neighboring Jingfeng College gave them so many rare treasures. The old man was not in a hurry and touched his beard. He slowly spoke up and said, of course, there are more than that. Huaqian Academy can list the Fu family as an affiliated family. In the future, if the Fu family is in trouble, the academy will definitely not sit idly by. The cultivation resources of the academy can be given priority to you. In addition, if you agree to enter our academy, 1 million spirit stones, 2 third-grade intermediate-level immortal herbs, 1 fourth-grade lower-level immortal herb, a fitted heavenly-level weapon and a set of heavenly-level armor, as well as appropriate martial arts. Listening to the old man's words, the scene was once again ignited. My goodness, 1 million spirit stones. Xian Chao, this Huaqian Academy has invested heavily. The complete Tianjia set. This Huaqian Academy is too willing, isn't it? Yang Fei was also shocked by the old man's words and couldn't help but think to himself, 1 million spirit stones. That's the family's 3-year harvest, as well as immortal grass, weapons, and armor. Is this academy so wealthy? What do you think, young master? The old man looked at Fu Yu and spoke calmly. Wait a minute. Another old man stood up. South flipping the academy, invite friends, or include the Fu family as an affiliated family of the academy, with a spirit stone of 1.5 million. In addition, attach a Warcraft-mounted flame lion and a spiritual level weapon. Although the rewards offered by Nanfan Academy are not as generous as those offered by Huaqian Academy, when they hear about the spiritual level weapons, everyone can't believe it. On the mainland, the level of weapons and armor determines the upper limit of weapons. The higher the level, the higher the power that can be released, which are mortal level, earthly level, heavenly level, spiritual level, extraordinary level, shining level, supreme level, divine artifact, and super divine artifact. Each level is further divided into 3 levels: inferior, medium, and superior. Lingjie. Oh my god, just one Lingjie is enough to instantly kill Huaqian Academy. Is this the benefit of having high talent? I also want it. I promise to enter the Southern Translation Academy. While everyone was still discussing, Fu Yu's voice came through. Ha ha ha, good. A college token flew towards Fu Yu. From now on, you will be my disciple at the Southern Translation Academy. The second one, Xiaolan. A girl squeezed out from behind Yang Fei. Who is this girl? Why is she dressed like a beggar and so big? Haha. It's just that, look at these clothes, how dirty they are. This can't be a beggar from somewhere, can it? Yang Fei also saw the girl in front of him, with short hair and a large dot-sized outfit that didn't fit well. The clothes were also sewn and patched, but his face was quite beautiful and clean. Close your stinky mouths. The speaker is Yang Fei. The girl stopped moving forward, turned around, saw Yang Fei's face clearly, and smiled at him. When Xiaolan passed by the old man presiding over the ceremony, he bowed to him and walked towards the door of order. The door slowly closed. 10 minutes passed quickly, and the door to order opened. As Xiaolan walked out, the spirit stone lit up and said, Xiaolan, godly, 90.2. Silence, only silence remains on the scene. No one expected that this seemingly beggar girl would have a high degree of godliness of 92. 92. Oh my god, another sub-god level. The old man at the ceremony also looked at the girl and showed a loving expression. Twice a day at the divine level. Never seen before, not bad, not bad. It's really fortunate for our temple. 92, higher than that Fu Yu. Yang Fei didn't expect either. Jingfeng Academy cordially invites Miss Xie to come with 2 million spirit stones, fitted heavenly level weapons and armor. In addition, the library in the academy is open to you at any time. The old man from Jingfeng College looked at Xiaolan with satisfaction. My goodness, open at any time, doesn't that mean there's no shortage of martial arts skills? Without waiting for Xiaolan's response, the old man from Huaqian Academy stood up again and said, Huaqian Academy has 2 million spirit stones. In addition to heavenly level weapons, armor, and immortal grass, the spirit gathering pool within the academy can be used at any time. Gathering spirit pool, gathering spiritual energy. The spiritual energy inside is several times more abundant than outside, which greatly improves the cultivation speed. The gathering spirit pool has all been taken out, old ghost, it really cost a lot of money. The old man from Jingfeng College said. The girl standing on the stage also felt a little tempted when she heard the gathering pool and said, I wish. Wait a minute, a woman stood up and looked quite young. You are from my Tianfeng Academy. Tianfeng Academy, with 2.4 million spirit stones, a set of fitted heavenly level weapons and armor. Is it over? It's gone, someone asked in confusion. The woman from Tianfeng Academy thought for a long time before continuing, go for it. Additionally, the academy promises to prepare a spiritual formation for you within 5 years. Ascending spirit formation. What is that? Yang Fei had heard of other things before, but this ascending spirit formation was the first time he had heard of it. Not only Yang Fei, but also few people present know exactly what this thing is. Oh, Tianfeng Academy has paid for it this time. If something even worse happens later, they may not have the capital to compete with us anymore. Don't bother Huaqian College. The old man who presided over the ceremony smiled and said, ascending the spirit formation can help those in the formation enhance their cultivation talents. It is currently the only method on the mainland that can improve their cultivation. However, the cost is also very high. If you cannot resist it, you will lose your own longevity. The old man's words were undoubtedly told to Xiaolon. Xiaolon also understood and laughed, saying, I am willing to join Tianfeng Academy. Xiaolon returned to her original position with the college token. As she passed by Yang Fei, she stopped and said, Hello, my name is Xiaolon. Thank you for helping me just now. The girl's head never lifted from beginning to end. Hello, my name is Yang Fei. Then Xiaolon ran back to her position. Next up, Xiao Xue. Chapter 6. Xiao Xue, you. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Next up, Xiao Xue. Upon hearing Xiao Xue's name, Yang Fei inexplicably became nervous. For his brother, Yang Fei naturally hoped that he could go further. Upon seeing Xiao Xue come out, Chu Yuan in the queue said, Oh, isn't this the servant of the Yang family? Why, have we finished our household chores? Even if we don't look at our own weight, we should also attend this ceremony. When Yang Fei saw his brother being bullied, he also stood up and said, Is it okay for someone like the Chu family who only knows how to use vulgar tricks to shout here? Seeing Yang Fei and Chu Yuan about to tear apart. Stop it, anyone who dares to retort will be disqualified. The speaker is the old man presiding over the ceremony. Seeing this, Yang Fei and Chu Yuan could only retreat to their own positions. Xiao Xue, come on. Upon hearing it, Xiao Xue knew that it was Yang Fei's voice. The door of order opened, and Yang Fei watched as Xiao Xue entered, slowly closing the door. I don't know if it's because Xiao Xue is inside, but Yang Fei feels that time has passed slowly. Time's up. The door opened again and Xiao Xue ran out happily. Cut, put on an airs, those who don't know think you're so powerful. The speaker is still Chu Yuan. Not long after, the crystal stones in the square emitted a light, and then the voice rang out again. Xiao Xue, Qinshendu, 94. 94. The scene was once again ignited, and the voices of discussion were endless. What? 3 consecutive demons, what's going on this year? 94, almost 95. What a new record for this year. Xiao Xue stared happily at Yang Fei, as if sharing his joy. Yang Fa below looked at Xiao Xue with an indescribable shock. This child's talent was so amazing. I am going south to visit the college and invite Mr. Xiao to join me as the chief disciple. In addition, the college will also build an independent cultivation space for you. You can practice the college's techniques as you please, with 3 million spirit stones and weapons and armor to choose from. Upon hearing this, everyone was shocked. 3 million spirit stones are enough for me to earn for several lifetimes. Independent cultivation space. Oh my God, this treatment. Yang Fei also didn't expect that his brother's cultivation talent was so high. Additionally, I can make an exception by making you a candidate for dean. Once you reach your level of strength, you can enter the academy's secret realm for cultivation. The old man's words were once again heard by everyone. Isn't this the secret realm of the academy that only those who are recognized as potential heirs can enjoy? It's too tempting, isn't it? It has to be said that Nanfan College has a rich foundation, and even after taking in one person, it can still earn so much. Little friend, don't worry. Our Jingfeng Academy sincerely invites you to practice in our academy. If you agree, the Southern Translation Academy will give you the same as our Jingfeng Academy. However, to show your sincerity, a spirit stone of 3.5 million yuan, along with a puppet, a silver flow guard, and weapons and armor for you to choose from. What, 3.5 million, is this a bidding? Sure enough, only geniuses deserve such treatment. Surprisingly, it's the silver flow guard. Oh my goodness, with this protection, no one is afraid of the enemy's pursuit. Tianfeng Academy, invite you to replace your puppets with advanced talismans, just like Nanfan Academy, and add a drop of Tianfeng essence. Tianfeng's blood essence, what is that? The woman from Tianfeng Academy confidently said, Tianfeng essence blood can help absorbers wash away impurities in their blood vessels and improve blood purity. If it perfectly blends with essence blood, it can also enhance blood vessel strength. Humph, Tianfeng Academy has even taken out Tianfeng's pure blood. It seems that they are determined to win, said the old man from Nanfan Academy. The old man who presided over the ceremony was also one of them. This year's ceremony was really lively and extraordinary, with 3 terrifying talents in a row. This is a rare sight. Wait a moment, the old man from Huaqian College said again. Huaqian Academy has 4 million spirit stones, spiritual weapons and armor, and a high-level talisman. At the same time, there is a secret realm left by a great master from 1,000 years ago in the academy. If you can join our academy, this realm will be open to you. Huaqian College has suffered consecutive failures and finally pulled out its old foundation. Upon hearing others joking, the face of Huaqian Academy was also not good looking. Now, only Jingfeng College has not spoken. After waiting for a long time, Jingfeng College has not responded yet. Is this giving up? It shouldn't be. The people below were discussing one after another. Xiao Xue pondered for a moment and said, I am willing to join Huaqian College. A college token flew in. Xiao Xue happily came to Yang Fei's side. Yang Fei looked at the token in Xiao Xue's hand, feeling both happy for his brother's success and worried about himself. Next. Pro Divine Degree, 60.3. Deity, 52. Profound to God, 68. The following talents are all average, the only one with a divine degree of 81 was recruited by Huaqian Academy. Next up, Chu Yuan. Upon hearing this name, Yang Fei immediately came to his senses. Chu Yuan walked out of the crowd with his head tilted back and turned to look at Xiao Xue, saying, You're just 94, right? Look, I'll surpass you later. And you, Yang Fei. I'll keep an eye on you, young master. Your young family will be overshadowed by my Chu family for the rest of your life. At this moment, Yang Fei wished he could cut Chu Yuan to pieces, but due to the words of the old man before, he could only endure it now. When I return to Qingshan town, I want you to look good. Yang Fei secretly swore in his heart. The door of order is closed. 10 minutes later, Chu Yuan walked out of the door. However, at this moment, he no longer had the arrogance he had when he entered, as if he had been drained of his soul. He dragged his body to the center of the square. Chu Yuan, Qingshan Du, 48. Upon hearing these numbers, Yang Fei couldn't help but burst into laughter and said, Ha ha ha, you haven't taken a few steps. Xiao Xue couldn't help but laugh beside him. On the Chu family's side, everyone had a gloomy face. 48 was the lowest so far, which made them want to find a hole to burrow into. Chu Yuan, you have really disappointed me. Chu Su, you have to give some energy to your family, Chu Lin said. 48, ha ha ha. The audience was filled with mocking laughter. Chu Yuan did not return to his original position, but walked directly towards the direction of the family. Next up, Chu Su. Although there were also conflicts between Yang Fei and Chu Su was not as arrogant as Chu Yuan. Yang Fei was also aware that most of the time it was Chu Yuan who instigated him, so he did not have such a dislike for Chu Su. Next, the same process, Chu Su, Kenshendu, 80.4. The Chu family also breathed a sigh of relief, although not too high. Fortunately they were also recruited by Jingfeng Academy. Chu Yuan looked at his younger brother and gritted his teeth. The ceremony continued, except for the first 3, there were no particularly stunning characters appearing next. The last one, Yang Fei. Upon hearing Yang Fei's name, Xiao Xue beside him was even more excited than Yang Fei. Young master, it's finally your turn. Come on, you can definitely do it. I will. The young family below is also sweating for their own young master. Yang Fei thought to himself, I didn't expect this kid to be at the end of the line. Kid, you need to cheer me on. Just as Yang Fei was about to walk out, he felt a hand holding his clothes behind him. Turning around, it was Xie Lan, and this was the first time I had seen her face up close. That, you go ahead. Yang Fei chuckled and said, it's you, I'll work hard. Thank you. Then he strode towards the door of order. Chapter 7. Ascending the Divine Stage and Encountering Strange Events, Part 1. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Yang Fei walked towards the door of order. As he passed by the old man, he felt his burning gaze. Yang Fei turned around and found the old man staring at him, bowing slightly to him. The old man smiled and nodded. Then walked towards the door of order. As Yang Fei stepped inside the door, the sound of the door of order closing came from behind. Ha! Yang Fei took a deep breath and said, Yang Fei, you can definitely do it. This is the scene that Yang Fei truly saw inside. From a distance, he could only see the golden stairs, but the scene inside was far more than that simple. Except for the platform under his feet, everything else was empty. Yang Fei looked down and saw a starry sky, with occasional flashes of lightning in the purple clouds. The stars echoed inside, creating a spectacular scene. In the midst of thunder and fortune, a round of moon slowly moved along the wall. Just as the moon reached its position at his feet, Yang Fei reached out his hand, and the moon passed through his palm. A chill surged up, frightening Yang Fei to quickly retract it. Strange, even though it doesn't exist, why can we still feel energy? On the surrounding walls, runes occasionally lit up, and Yang Fei could vaguely feel that these runes contained terrifying energy. However, these energies were sporadic and seemed to have lost their former power. It was unclear whether they were due to the erosion of time. On both sides of the stairs are two stone statues resembling knights, who insert their swords into the ground and hold the hilts with both hands. Strangely, both stone statues are looking up at the sky. Following the perspective of the stone statue, Yang Fei lifted his head and a dazzling sun stopped in the air. However, the energy emitted by this round of the sun made Yang Fei feel very comfortable, as if he was healing himself. Yang Fei enjoyed it very much, much better than the feeling brought by the moon and the sun at the bottom. This time, Yang Fei did not reach out his hand to reach the sun above his head. At this moment, he also understood that there must be something more to it. Oh no, only 10 minutes. Yang Fei finally regained his senses. Looking up the stairs, a stone tablet stood on the platform at the top of the stairs, which immediately piqued Yang Fei's curiosity and he stepped up. Suddenly, Yang Fei's eyes turned black and he couldn't see anything. He could only wave his hand randomly, looking for something to rely on. Suddenly, a very dazzling light shot towards Yang Fei in the distance, forcing him to close his eyes. When Yang Fei opened his eyes again, he found himself in a village, which was very quiet. Yang Fei finally encountered someone and wanted to come forward and grab them to ask what the situation was, but to no avail. Whenever he tried to touch them, he would pass through their bodies. Yang Fei was desperate and couldn't help but think to himself, where the hell is this? Ah! A scream came, and Yang Fei searched for the sound and found a group of people bullying a child who looked about the same age as Yang Fei. They squeezed the child in a corner, punched and kicked him, and cursed, "You played God." When you came to the village was in constant chaos. Let's see if I can stop you. The people around me didn't come forward to help, they were all pointing at the bullied child. Yang Fei couldn't see it and spoke up to stop it all. However, no one responded to him, and those people continued to beat the children lying on the ground. Yang Fei frantically punched at the person who was attacking, but it was of no use except for his own physical exhaustion. Alright, stop it. If we keep fighting, there might really be an accident. Let him go. Behind Yang Fei, an old man holding a cane appeared at some point, which also startled him. Upon hearing the old man's words, the crowd stopped and respectfully said to him, "Village chief." The village chief looked at the child in front of him who was already on the brink of death, so he ordered someone to lift him up and throw him out of the village. Yang Fei was worried that something might happen, so he followed and found that they had thrown the child into the forest not far from the village, so he went back. Yang Fei is particularly anxious now. Looking at the injuries on his body, this child may not survive tonight, but Yang Fei is powerless at this moment. After an unknown amount of time, the sound of rustling footsteps came. Yang Fei looked cautiously and found it to be the village chief. He saw the village chief holding a bowl of water and some food in his hand. He squatted next to the child and saw the injuries on his body. The elderly village chief actually cried. The village chief wiped away the tears in his eyes, then picked up the child who had collapsed on the ground, fed it water, and carefully took out a jade bottle from his pocket. He carefully took out a black pill and fed it to the child's mouth, holding the child tightly in his arms. Seeing no one around, the village chief murmured to himself, "Child, it's Grandpa who's not right with you. He shouldn't have brought you back in the first place. Grandpa knows it's not your fault, but when Grandpa gets old, he can't do anything about it. It's really Grandpa's fault, don't come back again." The village chief sat next to him holding the child. After a long, long time, the sun was about to set in the sky. The village chief then carefully put down the child, placed food next to him, stood up, wiped his tearful eyes, and walked towards the direction of the village. After taking a few steps, he turned back to look until his figure could not be seen. Yang Fei stayed by the side of this child like this. Unconsciously, Yang Fei fell asleep. Cough, cough. Yang Fei was awakened by a cough. The child in front of him had already sat up, enjoying the food given by the village chief in his hand. Strange. Why is his injury gone? Is it that pill? When the child finished eating the food in their hand, they stood up, patted the dust off their body, and walked towards the direction of the village. Yang Fei's eyes were sharp and his hands were fast. He was beaten for nothing when he went back. He reached out his hand and wanted to hold the child. He thought he would go straight through like before, but this time he truly touched it. The child turned around and stared at Yang Fei, asking, "Who are you?" Yang Fei saw that the other party could see him, so he didn't have to worry about how happy he was. He immediately said, "Can you see me?" The other party stared at Yang Fei like a fool. Yang Fei awkwardly scratched his head and told him about the strange thing that had happened, but because he was unsure of the identity of the person in front of him, Yang Fei did not explain his participation in the trial. "My name is Kai Zhen and I come from Kai family village. Do you say you come from the Eternal Continent? Strangely, we also call it the Eternal Continent here. Is this also the Eternal Continent? Have you been teleported to another plane?" Kai Zhen also reminisced about her experience with Yang Fei. Yang Fei finally understood that it was the village chief who brought the abandoned Kai Zhen back to the Kai family village. At first, the villagers welcomed Kai Zhen very much and took good care of him when they saw him as an orphan. However, gradually, many strange things happened in the village. At first, only some livestock were lost, and later it was the children in the village who were lost. Now, there are plagues in the village, and they blame everything on the young Kai Zhen, which is why the scene of the day happened. Yang Feiyue became increasingly angry, but Kai Zhen remained indifferent. He also said, "If it weren't for the care of the village chief and the villagers, I would have been gone a long time ago. The village chief's request for me to leave was also a form of protection for me. Do you all know? Yes, I actually woke up long after taking the pill, but I didn't want the village chief grandpa to be reluctant, so I didn't open my eyes. Since, as you said, only I can see you in this world at the moment, then you can follow me. You are not familiar with the place here, and it is easy for you to get lost. Watching Zhen walk towards Kai family village, Yang Fei said, "But, aren't you going to be bullied again when you go back?" Zhen looked indifferent and said, "After all, this is the place where I was raised. Let's go back and take a look." Upon hearing it, Yang Fei breathed a sigh of relief. They stood in the forest, looking at Kai family village from a distance. Yang Fei stood behind Zhen, looking at his shaking shoulders. He knew that Zhen was crying. After Zhen adjusted her emotions, she turned around and said to Yang Fei, "Let's go." "Where are we going?" "Imperial capital." "No, isn't this ceremony only 10 minutes long?" "How come it's been so long, I'm still here?" Yang Fei suddenly regained consciousness and remembered that he was still attending the ceremony. Zhen, who was walking ahead, turned around and saw Yang Fei in a daze, urging him to quickly follow in his footsteps. At this moment, Yang Fei had no choice but to follow Zhen first. Due to being able to only walk, this trip had to stop and go for a full 5 days before arriving. "It's here." Yang Fei looked at it and was shocked by the scene before him. "I'm going, is this so bustling?" "Of course, this is the imperial capital, the most bustling area here." "What are we doing here?" Yang Fei asked in confusion. "Participate in the ceremony of ascending to the gods." "Wait, the ritual of ascending to the gods." Chapter 8. Ascending the Divine Stage and Encountering Strange Events, Part 2. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Yes, the ceremony of ascending to the gods, it's an annual feast on the mainland. Yang Fei thought to himself, isn't the ceremony of ascending to the gods on the same day across the whole continent? Why does this emperor only start tomorrow? Zhen is still introducing himself to Yang Fei, but at this moment, Yang Fei can't even listen. "This is definitely not the eternal continent where I live. Walk and walk, first find a place to fill your stomach." Zhen took Yang Fei's hand and walked forward. But the surrounding scene once again turned into darkness. With the experience from the previous time, Yang Fei was not in a hurry this time. Sure enough, the beam of light came again. Zhen, being close to God, 100. Yang Fei suddenly opened his eyes and saw Zhen on stage. At this moment, he undoubtedly ignited the atmosphere present. Yang Fei doesn't know what happened either. Wave at Zhen on stage and say, "Zhen, Zhen." Zhen turned his head and saw Yang Fei in the crowd, waving his hand towards him. Suddenly, Yang Fei flew rapidly towards the front, as if a force was controlling him. Yang Fei was frightened by this sudden scene and wanted to break free, but could not move, just like there was a huge magnet ahead, and at this moment, Yang Fei was the same iron. This time, the surroundings were not darkness, with twinkling stars like billions of diamonds scattered in the night sky. He bathed in the starlight and felt a mysterious and powerful energy penetrating his body. The distant planets and galaxies flashed rapidly before his eyes, like a journey at the speed of light. He saw the brilliant colors of the nebula, forming a beautiful halo around the planet, like a dream. Within each star, there is a scene projected. Yang Fei fixed his gaze and saw that the person in the picture was Zhen, so he reached out to touch it. The next second, all the stars flew towards Yang Fei's eyebrows, and countless images flashed through his mind. Is this Kai's real memory? A quasi-god that is rare to encounter in 1,000 years. The ancient sages came out of the mountains to recruit. At the age of 20, I stepped into the realm of Yuan Ying. The vast amount of information gave Yang Fei a headache, but the image behind him became increasingly blurred. The surrounding scene began to crumble, and the entire space returned to darkness once again. A burst of white smoke rose around. "Ha ha ha, good kid, finally waiting for you." A deep voice sounded, and as soon as the words fell, a figure emerged from the white smoke. Zhen. Yang Fei had seen the appearance of the phantom in front of him in that memory. Zhen was also what you called him. "You stinky kid, big or small? Senior Kai-Zhen, Yang Fei said respectfully. Well, that's right. Senior, what's going on here? Kid, what you see and hear is my life. My name is Kai-Zhen, and I am praised by the world as a true descendant of the gods. My talent is extremely high. At the age of 40, I stepped into the realm of returning to reality, only one step away from breaking through into a god. However, throughout my life, I was unable to break through. Wait, aren't you a quasi-god? Yang Fei recalled uncle's words. At this point, Kai-Zhen's face was filled with helplessness, and he continued, I don't know why. Whenever I'm about to break through, I always feel like I'm missing something, which ultimately leads to my failure. I have also traveled across the entire continent and finally sensed the appearance of that thing in that mysterious field. The deeper I went, the stronger and more dangerous it became. Even stronger than me at that time, when facing the creatures inside, I also fell. What appears in front of you is only a strand of residual soul sealed by me in this stone, in order to meet the appropriate inheritor one day. Inherit it to me. Yang Fei couldn't believe it. Haha, that's for sure. You're the only person in nearly 1,000 years who has sensed my existence, so I've been waiting for you. Kai-Zhen's soul wandered in front of Yang Fei, looking at him. Would you be willing to accept my legacy? But if you think about it, it comes at a cost. Do you still need to think about it? Yang Fei immediately replied, I am willing. I saw Kai-Zhen extend his palm, and Yang Fei saw this and also extended his hand to greet him. The trial is over. A voice came in. As soon as the words fell, the scene in front of him began to collapse, and Kai-Zhen's phantom became increasingly blurred. Just as Kai-Zhen was about to disappear, he spoke calmly, practice well, there will be a chance to meet again in the future. Remember, today's events can only be known to you and me. Done, I forgot to ask clearly what the cost is. Returning to reality, Yang Fei felt a splitting headache, as if he had had a dream. Finally back, Yang Fei thought to himself at this moment. Turning to his senses, he found his handprint on the stone tablet. Is this inheritance a dream or a reality? Please the tester leave quickly. Upon hearing the sound, Yang Fei regained his senses and headed down the stairs. Watching Yang Fei emerge from the door, the Yang family and Xiao Xue also breathed a sigh of relief. Walking to the center of the square, the spirit stone lit up. Yang Fei, Qinshendu, 83. Cut, it's been so long without coming out, it's just an imperial level. How much do I think? The people below are discussing one after another. Yang Fa stared at Yang Fei on stage, feeling an indescribable sensation in his heart. Yang Fei was also puzzled and thought to himself, why is this talent so low when he has already reached the top? South Flipping Academy, 800,000 spirit stones, a set of fitted ground-level weapons. Jingfeng College has 1.5 million spirit stones. Tianfeng Academy, with 800,000 spirit stones, a set of body refining techniques. Huaqian College has 1.5 million spirit stones. The difference is too big, isn't it? Yang Fei said with a bitter smile. Mogu Academy has 1 million spirit stones, which can be worshipped by the head of the academy. Yang Fei followed the sound and saw a middle-aged man who had gained weight standing up, dressed in very simple clothes. Mogu Academy has also arrived, why hasn't it been silent? Upon hearing the mockery from Huaqian Academy, the middle-aged man couldn't help but smile awkwardly. Okay, I'll join Mogu Academy. Upon hearing the answer, the middle-aged man paused and quickly took out a token from his pocket. Ha ha ha. Is this kid okay? He actually chose Mogu Academy, the onlookers couldn't help but laugh. Yang Fei looked at the middle-aged man in front of him and felt something was wrong, but he didn't think much. Returning to the team, Xiao Xue's face was full of worry and he asked, Young master, are you okay? Yang Fei responded with a burst of laughter, what can I do? Isn't this okay? Xiao Xue finally breathed a sigh of relief. I declare that the ceremony is over. Everyone began to leave, and after the college had explained the enrollment time and location, they also left. The middle-aged man found Yang Fei, rubbed his head, and said, "Hello junior brother, I am the eldest senior brother of the college. My name is Wang Lin, and my master ordered me to come because there is something wrong with the college." Yang Fei responded with a smile, "Hello senior brother, my name is Yang Fei. Please take good care of me in the future." Alas, taking care of each other is something that fellow disciples should do. Then he took out a receiving ring and instructed, "There is 1,000,000 spirit stones inside. You can order them. Besides, this receiving ring can be considered as a gift from senior brother to you. Neji can store items." This was still Yang Fei's first time accepting the ring. He held it in his hand and looked at it before saying to Wang Lin, "Thank you, senior brother. Alright, I have to rush back to the college." I remember reporting to the college half a month later, and I put the college map in the Na Jie folder. Then bid farewell to Yang Fei and others. Just as Yang Fei and Xiao Xue were also preparing to leave, Xie Lan behind said, "Yang Fei, you need to keep going in the future. We will see each other again." Yang Fei smiled and turned back, "You too." Returning to the inn, Yang Fei lay in bed, trying to recall everything that had happened today. Unconsciously, he rubbed his eyebrows, but there was no response. "I only remember Kai Zhen instructing me to practice well before disappearing, and not to spread this matter to the outside world." Then he looked at the ring in his hand and recalled his father's previous way of injecting his spiritual power. It was indeed successful, with a large pile of spirit stones and a map inside. Yang Fei took out the map and was just about to open it. Dong dong dong. There was a knocking at the door. "Who?" "Your uncle." "Uncle, come in." Then, Yang Fei put the map back and quickly jumped off the bed. Yang Fei looked at the worried look in the uncle's eyes and smiled, "Uncle, I'm fine. Don't worry." Yang Fei shook his head helplessly. "Harm, if it's okay, you can go to a place with me alone tomorrow." Chapter 9. Fu Shi. You are listening at novelfull.audio. "Tomorrow morning, you'll go somewhere alone with me," he said before getting up and leaving Yang Fei's room. Just as Yang Fei was about to lie back in bed, there was a knocking sound outside the door. "Young master, young master." Upon hearing Xiao Xue's voice, Yang Fei realized that this guy had disappeared from the inn. Xiao Xue tentatively pushed open the door and saw Yang Fei with a chuckle. "Come on in." Yang Fei saw Xiao Xue hiding his hands behind him and couldn't understand what this guy was up to. Xiao Xue approached Yang Fei and reached out his hand. "Young master, this is for you." Xiao Xue placed the wooden box in his hand on the table and stared at Yang Fei with a smile on his face. "Young master, soon I will be reporting to Huaqian College. I don't know how long it will take to see each other." This can be considered a thought. Yang Fei's heart was inexplicably sour upon hearing Xiao Xue's words. Then opened the wooden box. The wooden box was opened and a talisman was placed inside, surrounded by lightning power. "Is this the advanced talisman given to you by Huaqian Academy?" "No, no, I can't take this." Seeing that Yang Fei wanted to refuse, Xiao Xue pounced and knelt on the ground. "Young master, the Yang family is as grateful to me as a mountain, and you are even more like a brother to me. Therefore, please make sure to accept it." Seeing Xiao Xue preparing to kowtow, Yang Fei quickly stopped him. "I'll take it, can't I take it?" Then he stood up and helped Xiao Xue up. Yang Fei covered the box and took it back into his ring. "Let's go, follow me to a place." Yang Fei picked up Xiao Xue and walked towards the outside of the inn. "Boss, 2 jars of good wine, and 1 roasted goose." Yang Fei took out the spirit stone from the ring. Xiao Xue looked puzzled. "Give me the talisman, I'll treat you to a drink." Two people each held a wine jar and found a secluded place, learning from Yang Fei and the others. Xiao Xue, come on, have a drink. The two of them drank in one gulp. A severe burning sensation came from the throat, causing a sensation of dizziness in the stomach. The two of them took advantage of the situation and lay on the lawn, looking at the sky. Xiao Xue, how long will you be leaving? Yang Fei broke the silence first. The college asked me to go back and tidy up as soon as possible, and I will come to Yang's house to pick me up in 3 days. 3 days later. So early, come on, stop talking about this, keep drinking. The two of them, using fine wine, reminisced about their childhood together. Xiao Xue had no parents since childhood and was adopted by an old man who begged with him. However, the good times didn't last long. The old man contracted a cold and died, and thereafter, Xiao Xue lived alone without food. I don't know how to get to Qingshan town either. On that day, I was begging on the street as usual. Coincidentally, my wife met me and saw that I was pitiful, so she took me home, Xiao Xue recalled. The two of them lay down like this, talking from the past to the future, without hesitation. As the alcohol grew stronger, the two of them fell into a deep sleep. The second day. Young master, wake up quickly. Xiao Xue shook Yang Fei, who was still asleep. Yang Fei opened his eyes in a daze, feeling a splitting headache. After calming down, he suddenly thought of something. Damn it, uncle. Yang Fei rushed back to the inn, and uncle was standing at the entrance waiting for him. Uncle didn't blame himself and said, get on your horse. Yang Fei rode his horse and left Baicheng with Yang Fei, heading towards the other side of the forest. Where are we going? Yang Fei asked curiously. I'll take you to visit a friend of mine. Walk towards the depths of the forest. Not long after, I saw a wooden house. Brother Jia, brothers are coming to see you. Yang Fei said. A figure rushed out of the door and sniffed around Yang Fei. This person is about the same age as his uncle and is very thin. Didn't you bring it? Yang Fei laughed and took the prepared good wine from his horse's back. How could I not remember Brother Jia's preferences? I naturally brought them with me. The person in front of him took the wine jar and sniffed it. Good wine, come in. Yang Fei instinctively looked around and noticed that there were many Warcraft bones in the courtyard. What is this? My nephew, Yang Fei. Yang Fei quickly pulled Yang Fei behind him to his side. Yang Fei bowed to the person in front of him and said, Yang Fei, I have seen. My name is Jia Hua. Since you are Yang's nephew, please call me Uncle Jia. Yang Fei, I have added Uncle Jia. Come on, don't stand still, sit down. Jia Hua called out to the two standing people. Yang Fei poured a bowl of wine for Jia Hua and said, Brother Jia, this cup is for you. Brother, I'll do it. Brother Jia, you need to help me with something, brother. Jia Hua put down the wine that had just reached his mouth and said angrily, I knew you weren't well-intentioned and came to see me with the wine. Tell me, what's going on? Yang Fei scratched his head and said, it's not a big deal either. It wasn't a few days ago, my nephew just attended the ritual of asking the gods. Oh. With 83 degrees of godliness, there is still hope for us to work hard in the future and reach the Yuan Ying Realm. Yuan Ying Realm. Only able to reach Yuan Ying Realm. Yang Fei felt lost in his heart. Yang Fei is in a hurry. This guy clearly knows what he means, so he's here to play tricks on himself. Brother Jia, I want to send this child to you and become a talisman master. No way, Jia Hua interrupted Yang Fei. Jia Hua shook his head and continued, this child has already been admitted to Mogu Academy. If I recruit him again, I'm afraid it will cause unnecessary trouble. Besides, when have you seen me admit disciples? Yang Fa didn't give up and was about to speak when Jia Hua interrupted, saying, "Alright, I understand what you mean. Alright, Yang Fei, come with me." Jia Hua led Yang Fei towards the backyard. "Kid, you should also understand your uncle's meaning. I won't beat around the bush with you anymore. If I want to become a talisman master, I need to see if you have that talent." "Talent? What talent?" Yang Fei only heard uncle mention the profession of talisman master. "The innate ability to feel everything around us is called spiritual power. For example, a drop of water on the grass and trees around us can still be seen continuously gathering and falling without relying on our eyes." Upon hearing Jia Hua's words, Yang Fei was completely confused. "Please teach me, Uncle Jia. You have to keep an eye on my next move." I saw Jia Hua sitting on the ground, his hands constantly flipping in front of his chest, and the energy around him constantly gathered, forming a ball of light. Jia Hua opened his eyes and said to Yang Fei, "The light ball in my hand contains the elements of the surrounding plants and trees. Follow my movements just now and try to absorb the elements around me." Yang Fei learned from Jia Hua's movements, sat cross-legged on the ground, and then kept flipping his hands. But there has been no movement around. Just as Jia Hua was about to make Yang Fei stop, thunderclouds rolled in the sky. Jayawarden felt uneasy as a lightning bolt struck Yang Fei at lightning speed. Jia Hua quickly took out a talisman from his pocket and threw it at Yang Fei's feet. Earth symbol, rock shield. As the talisman landed, a rock wall rose around it, enveloping Yang Fei inside. The lightning also hit the rock wall, and the thunderclouds dispersed. Jia Hua breathed a sigh of relief and then waved his hand, saying, "Jia." The rock wall collapsed. "Ha ha ha, what a kid. He actually caught lightning." Looking at Yang Fei, who was panicked, Jia Hua nodded with satisfaction. "You come over." Yang Fei came to Jia Hua's side. "Not bad, you're quite talented. Next, you'll remember it for me. A talisman master is someone who uses the power of heaven and earth for their own benefit. This profession does not have a clear talent division like cultivators. As long as you can perceive the energy around you, you can become a talisman master. The technique we just taught you is called the gathering spirit method, but it stems from your current weak spiritual power. When your spiritual power improves in the future, you no longer need to rely on this method. At that time, with just one thought, you can perceive everything around you." As he spoke, Jia Hua extended his fingers and a flame condensed in his hand. Yang Fei looked at the flames in Jia Hua's hand and had a new understanding of the talisman master in his heart. Next, the most important thing is that talismans are also divided into levels. However, our levels are much simpler. Junior talismans, intermediate talismans, advanced talismans, great talismans, holy talismans, and finally, only 5 people have reached the level of heavenly talismans so far. The method of assessing the level of a Fu master is also very simple, which is to go to the Fu Master Hall for assessment. The manufacturing method of talismans is to use animal skins as paper. The stronger the Warcraft animal skins, the more they can withstand the powerful energy. By drawing in the energy of heaven and earth, runes can be carved on the animal skins. Alright, I've almost told you everything that needs to be said, and I'll pass on the basic techniques to you. Finally, I'll remind you, a talisman not only tests a person's ability to sense the energy of heaven and earth, but also their level of meticulousness in depicting runes, which can be as close as a millimeter or as close as 1,000 miles. Thank you very much for your guidance, Uncle Jia. Yang Fei bowed to Jia Hua. Go in, I can only teach you this far. Yang Fei saw them returning and approached, saying, Brother Jia, how is my nephew? Jia Hua was too lazy to look at Yang Fei. He glanced at me behind him and said, I'm quite talented. I'll practice well in the future, and in no time, I'll become a junior talisman master. After listening, Yang Fei looked at Yang Fei behind him and couldn't help but smile happily. We have to hurry back to the Yang family, so we'll say goodbye. Yang Fa pulled Yang Fei over and prepared to leave. Wait a minute. Jiahuo walked into the inner room and came out with a book in his hand. Take it, there are some ways to depict runes on it, please remember. In addition, there are 3 runes I carved myself, which can be considered as a gift for you to meet. Alright, you can leave now. Yang Fei bowed to Jiahuo and said, Thank you very much for your guidance, Uncle Jiao. Returning to the inn, I found that the Yang family was already waiting at the door. Return to Qingshan town. On the carriage, Yang Fei took out a talisman and handed it to Xiao Xue. This is for you, it can save your life in a critical moment. Yang Fei smiled as he looked at Xiao Xue. Xiao Xue took the talisman and didn't ask much. Thank you very much, young master. When passing by the inn, Yang Fei ordered everyone to stop here. The landlady looked at the Yang family and was so frightened that she knelt on the ground. Lord, everything that happened before was threatened by the Chu family. Please don't forget the villains and leave us a way out. Bang, Yang Fa punched out. The fist stopped a few centimeters away from the boss's wife. The landlady dare not open her eyes. Save your life today and help me with something. Later, Yang Fa gave a few orders to the landlady. Okay, sir. The landlady just stepped down. Uncle, what did you tell her? Yang Fei approached and asked. Treat others in their own way. Chapter 10. Revenge for the Chu family. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Treat others in their own way. Yes, no matter how the Chu family bullied you, we'll just bully you back. I'll avenge you, uncle. Immediately instruct the subordinates to prepare. At this moment, the Chu family convoy slowly arrived. Waiter, prepare the table and prepare the dishes, Chu Lin said. Alright, sir, please sit down first. The shop assistant beckoned everyone from the Chu family to sit down. In no time, everything was ready. Looking at the wine jar on the table, Chu Yuan said, We didn't order any wine. The waiter quickly replied, This is a gift from the shop to the customer. Chu Lin angrily said, I didn't say I wanted this thing. Then he slapped the table with a palm, and suddenly, the table was smashed to pieces. Upon seeing this, the waiter was frightened and kept retreating. Chu Lin grabbed the hem of the waiter's clothes and forcefully lifted it up. Oh, my guest, don't get angry. The landlady came out to clear the situation. Sir, the waiter made a mistake. We will replace it for you now. After speaking, Chu Lin finally let go of the waiter. A table of dishes was brought up again. Just as everyone was about to use chopsticks, Chu Lin quickly stopped and said, Wait a minute. Then he asked his subordinates next to him to come over and say a few words to him. I saw the person run out, and shortly after, he walked in with a package in his hand and handed it to Chu Lin. The landlady suddenly felt unwell and quickly approached, saying, My guest, look, this food is already cold. I'll take it and reheat it for you. Chu Lin raised his hand and pressed down on the hand that the landlady had extended. I didn't allow you to move. The landlady's hand was pressed on the table, and a crisp sound of bones breaking came from her mouth, pleading for mercy. It hurts, my guest. The Yang family on the second floor watched everything happening below. Wait for me to test this food. If it's okay, I'll compensate you. If it's okay, no one wants to leave today. Later, Chu Lin ordered his men to take out the silver needle. In no time, the silver needle turned black. Damn it, you really dare to poison. As soon as he finished speaking, Chu Lin's strength grew even stronger, and the boss's wife begged for mercy in pain. When it comes to dealing with a woman, it's just like your Chu family's style. Who? Don't hide anything with seeds, Chu Lin roared as he looked around. The Chu family has already entered a state of alert. Suddenly, Chu Lin saw Yang Fa on the second floor and said, it's indeed you. You bullied the younger generation of the Yang family, this account should be settled. Subsequently, Yang Fa drew a weapon from the Na ring, which was a long sword with a silver body and a ruby embedded in the handle. This is the first time Yang Fa has seen uncle's weapon. Yang Fa jumped down with his sword and charged towards Chu Lin. Upon seeing this, Chu Lin quickly released the control of the boss's hand and also took out his weapon from the ring, which was a wolf-toothed stick. Not long after, the two were beaten together. The subordinates of the Chu family wanted to come forward and break free, but were stopped by the elite of the Yang family. The inn suddenly became very chaotic, and the guests were frightened and fled one after another. Yang Fa's every strike was quite domineering, suppressing Chu Lin in his own realm, causing him to retreat and keep letting go. This sword sends you back to the west. Flame blade, autumn sword decisive. A light blue flame appeared on Yang Fa's blade, and he quickly swung his sword towards Chu Lin. Chu Lin saw this and raised his wolf-tooth stick high, shocking the ground. Then it hit the ground with a loud bang, and in an instant, a big crack appeared on the ground. Upon seeing this, Yang Fa quickly jumped up and slashed towards the side of Chu Lin. Just as the blade was about to touch Chu Lin quickly grabbed a nearby subordinate of the Chu family and blocked the knife for himself. The blade pierced through the body of its subordinates. Chu Lin took this opportunity and dodged back. Escape. Chu Lin grabbed Chu Yuan and Chu Su, who were hiding on the side, and ran towards the gate. Can you run away? Yang Fa chased after him with a knife. Yang Fei and Xiao Xue also walked around from the side and followed up. Chu Lin and his companions ran towards the forest, with Yang Fa following closely behind. Walking to a gentle spot, Chu Lin stopped and put down Chu Yuan and Chu Su in his hand, then turned to look at Yang Fa. He, you really have the courage to chase after me. Well, let's use this place as your graveyard. Take out a bottle from your pocket and throw it at Yang Fa. Yang Fa swung out a knife, causing the bottle to burst and the powder inside scattered all over him. Yang Fa sniffed and said, "Oh no, this is the smell of Warcraft corrosion." Seeing Yang Fa react, Chu Lin also smiled and said, "So what if I know?" It's too late. Roar, a dull cry came, and Yang Fa and Xiao Xue, who were still behind, heard it and quickened their pace. Not long after, a tiger rushed out from the nearby grass. The tiger was about 2 meters long and had sharp fangs. Oh no, low-level Warcraft, quick-toothed tiger. With a roar, the fast-toothed tiger charged towards Yang Fa. Yang Fa raised his sword and met, resisting the attack of the swift-toothed tiger. Unexpectedly, Chu Lin dodged and came behind Yang Fa. Today is your deadline. The wrath of Wolf Howl. At this moment, the sharp spike on Chu Lin's weapon was pointing towards the sharp teeth of a hungry wolf. Chu Lin leaped high and swung fiercely towards Yang Fa. Uncle. Yang Fa arrived, and at this moment, Yang Fa's back was attacked. He was afraid of this blow, and Yang Fa dared not think too much. Chu Lin was determined to win this blow. Unexpectedly, a layer of rock walls rose around Yang Fa, blocking the blow. The collision between the wolf-toothed stick and the rock wall made a deafening sound. Chu Lin turned around and saw Yang Fa holding the talisman. I didn't expect you guys to still use talismans, so let's deal with you first. Seeing Chu Lin charging towards him, Yang Fa and Xiao Xue were frightened and fled, but how could the two children be opponents of an adult? In no time, there was nowhere to escape. Yang Fa quickly took out the talisman given by Uncle Jiao. This one was different from the other two, it was a fire talisman. As he watched Chu Lin approach, Yang Fa took out his talisman and threw it towards Chu Lin. Fire talisman, it's scorching. The talisman exploded in the air with considerable power. Chu Lin did not expect Yang Fa to have this means, so he did not defend himself and was severely injured by the explosion. Good kid, you actually hit some tricks. I see what other tricks you have. Then he lifted his wolf-tooth stick and said, Moonlight Bite. Yang Fei and Xiao Xue curled up together, but after waiting for a long time, the hammer didn't come down. When they opened their eyes, a knife pierced through Chu Lin's body. Uncle! Yang Fei shouted like a survivor from a disaster. At this moment, Yang Fei was panting heavily. You stinky kid, you used talismans and didn't unlock them for me. You trapped me for half a day, and it was still a low-level monster. As soon as I got out of trouble, I rushed over here, but fortunately I caught up. Yang Fei sat on the ground exhausted, gasping for breath and saying, Are you pretty good? If it weren't for you, your uncle might have fallen here today. Upon hearing Yang Fei's praise, Yang Fei was also extremely happy. Yang Fei looked at the fallen body of the warcraft and said, Uncle, can I have the skin of this warcraft? Of course, Yang Fei knew what this kid wanted to do. If you want it, I'll give it to you. Then he looked at Chu Yuan and Chu Su not far away. Watching Yang Fei walking over with a knife in hand, the two brothers were also frightened into a cold sweat. What are you doing? Chu Yuan asked in a trembling voice. Yang Fei glanced at them and said, Get lost. Chu Yuan and his companions saw this and quickly ran down the mountain. Yang Fei rested for a while, picked up the body of the warcraft, and then came to Chu Lin's side to take off the Na ring from his hand. Returning to the inn, the Yang family sacrificed 3 elite members to subdue the Chu family. Yang Fei looked at the 3 lying down and then stared closely at the remaining 7, promising, I will reward you well when I go back. The families of these 3 brothers will also receive the care of the Yang family. Thank you, 2 family leaders. Everyone knelt down and bowed. After burying the 3 sacrificed individuals, depart and return to Qingshan town.